So, no, I wouldn't say I have a passion for HR.
Welcome back to Human Resources for the People. It's a human capital revolution. Today we're going to be talking about Section 7 of the National Labor Relations Act. So, the National Labor Relations Act actually explicitly says that you cannot prevent people from discussing employment, you cannot prevent people from disparaging their employer, and this came out on February 21st, where the National Labor Relations Board, which is appointed by the president, has said that you cannot have broad confidentiality and non-disparagement clauses in severance agreements. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. So the National Labor Relations Board ruled that severance agreements can't be broad with respect to confidentiality and non-disparagement. And it all goes back to Section 7 of the National Labor Relations Act. And this Section 7 protects the employee's right to organize, bargain collectively, and engage in protected and concerted activities, which is kind of the key point here. Protected and concerted activities like bringing group complaints to management is actually protected under the National Labor Relations Act. And what that looks like oftentimes is you can't really complain about another boss. You can't really discipline an employee who is complaining about their boss to another employee because that is Section 7, that is protected under the Section 7. Now, I'll tell you, most employers, most poor employers at least, don't often recognize this and will often get rid of you. But it is protected under the Section 7, and it's very important to understand that this is covered under your rights. So the National Labor Relations Board went over the specific terms of the severance agreement, and it's, these are really broad terms of the severance agreement, such that you can't discuss the terms of the agreement with anyone. In addition, there's a non-disclosure which says that you can't discuss information, knowledge, or materials of a confidential, privileged, or proprietary nature of which the employee has or had knowledge of, etc., etc. And then further, you can't disparage or harm the image of an employer or its parent or affiliated entities, which, okay, interesting. Many employers will put into place non-disparagement agreements as a part of the severance process in order to, prevent you from talking negatively about the layoff or so forth. And one thing that I'll probably harp on quite a bit, the National Labor Relations Board changes pretty frequently because it's based on the president and it's appointed by the president. And what that means is that often they flip-flop, right? So in the Trump era, there were employers, who were not already protected by state law. They could do it, and this National Labor Relations Board overturned them. So from an employer standpoint, it is quite old. It gets quite old to have a law that changes frequently, and the interpretation of the law that changes frequently. This appears to be a correct application of the law as far as I'm reading it from a layman's perspective, right? I'm not a lawyer, I'm not your lawyer. But it does seem like this is a correct interpretation of the National Labor Relations Act as it's currently written, and as it's currently applied, in that these confidentialities are protected. Now, I will say what this looks like, or what I would imagine that this might look like in the future, is that this will lead employers to either give lesser severance packages or ones without these agreements, without these non-disparagement agreements. But oftentimes employers will see the non-disparagement agreement as a very critical piece to, as well as the confidentiality, frankly, as a very important piece to why you would give a severance. So there's a good chance that this will cool severance agreements as a whole, especially when the layoffs and terminations are done well. There's no need for it, assuming that they follow the laws and feel comfortable in their decision making. So it could chill that. We'll see what the result is from the National Labor Relations Board. As always, please comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you think this will make a
What do you
serious
think about
change, or
today's
will this
video?
be a change
Please
for the good?
comment down
Leave a
below.
comment down below.
Like, share, and
And please
subscribe. It
like, share,
really
and
helps
subscribe,
out.
and I will
And
see
I'll
you
see you
on
on
the
the
next
next
video.
one. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.